Pecha Kucha 162, Inktober Final Thoughts, and Nanjing, The Burning City. So I'm happy with how the month went. I posted every single day. Some of those posts were actually produced ahead of time, only a couple of them. I did what I'd hoped to do. It was a good experience. But before I wrap it up, let's just talk about the graphic novel I read, Nanjing, The Burning City by Ethan Young, a Dark Horse hardback graphic novel. Pretty short read, but I did very much enjoy it. I picked it up because it looked graphically appealing, and it is. So it's predominantly set in the Sino-Japanese War, the war between Japan and China that sort of took place in the 30s, where Japan invaded China. Some Jet Li films are set in that period as well. Ultimately, Japan got repelled, and this is about a couple of soldiers who were stuck in Nanjing. Japan's overrun it, the Japanese military, and they're just trying to figure out how to get out of the city, having had their military commanders abandon them. So it's like the grizzled old vet and like his rookie understudy, and the old dude wants to get to the river, and the young guy wants to get to the European zone protected, or the safe zone protected by Europeans. They encounter a lot of rape and murder. They they ambush a Japanese patrol, and they kill the one guy who was showing remorse about all the raping and pillaging, because there's no place for sympathy in war. It turns boys into angry men. A family of Chinese people are hiding in the city and accidentally shoot the younger one of the two soldiers. After sort of explaining to each other the situation, they all kind of agree to go to the safe zone, so that the young guy can get some medical treatment, and so that the family can not get murdered. In the safe zone, the Japanese military commander effectively finds the two soldiers, offers to make the grizzled old Chinaman his spy. He is promptly rejected, and then the older soldier is executed. He tells the Japanese dude he'll lose the war. He does, of course. That's what happens. But that's the way it ends. Pretty grim. Speaking of pretty grim, here's Agent 47. So, one of the few pictures I actually drew in September. This was quite well received, and it took me like 30 seconds. I spent a lot of time drawing Hitman badly, and then in the end I gave up and drew this. And that's kind of the story of Inktober. So my first Halloween thing, even though I technically drew Dracula last week, Sonic.exe and Mario enjoying a little Halloween thing. If you don't know about Sonic.exe, just don't bother. It's I didn't know, and now I do, and I don't know that the world's a better place for it. So super spooky skeleton. I decided there was a Dark Souls boss who was a giant skeleton, and I thought, yeah, I'll draw that guy, and I did. Didn't put too much effort into making it look good or anything like that. I just enjoy, lots of black, dark imagery. I'm happy with it. Dracula as portrayed by Bela Lugosi from the 1930s. I've never actually seen him play Dracula, but I watched a Johnny Depp film called Ed Wood, where Martin Landau played Bela Lugosi, and I thought that was really cool. So now I'm a fan of Bela Lugosi, even though I'm not a fan of Bela Lugosi. Flowey the Flower from Undertale. I know it's cheating to use grayscale, but sometimes you just want to do something. There's not a lot I can say without spoilers, even though you meet this guy at the start of the game. He's a shady guy, and it's a great game. Go play it. So ultimately, Inktober, I posted 31 images. A couple more, actually. And I only had like 9 before I started or something. So I really upped my Instagram game, and I got a lot of responses. It's a lot more than I deserve, considering, a lot of these aren't that good. But I was also posting on Tumblr, and some things did really well on Tumblr that didn't go anywhere on Instagram. Tumblr also has a very strange way of showing you results in terms of how people are interacting with your stuff. I'm not sure it's very useful for actually gathering data to see what works and what doesn't. My bullseye post, which I was very proud of when I did it because I knew I had a good idea in my head, didn't get any traction on Instagram, but Tumblr, it actually got reblogged. That's the first time that's ever happened to me. It's interesting to know that things are happening behind your back where you're successful but you don't feel it. It's a strange thing. Very interesting, though. So the question now is, as much as I enjoyed posting every day, do I keep producing one image every day? It's not possible for a guy like me in my current position to guarantee quality any more than I could before, but now I have that hard time limit. But I did enjoy the consistency of it. So, but what I really think I need to do, as I'm looking at 2 training courses right now, is practice, and literally practice drawing lines, drawing circles, drawing ellipses, working 100% on muscle memory and line quality, because that's a big thing for a guy like me who's very keen on just doing black and white stuff with ink. Something that I know I need to do is get smiley shows out. The idea this month is hopefully every Saturday I will put out a 1-page smiley show. It's going to be predominantly about Smiley and Vegeta panicking because they can't fill 1 page because it's too fucking short. Can I marry that with the idea that I kind of just established a let's call it a gold standard of quality with a 3-page smiley show that took it. I probably did it in 3 days, but it took like 2 months from start to finish because I just keep putting it off because that's what I do with smiley shows. I'm really happy with how this is, but can I guarantee this every Saturday? I don't know. And then just to wrap up, I also read a book by Darren Brown called Happy, which is about adjusting how you perceive your situation when you can't change it, and also just focusing on what you can do to improve your quality of life and then giving up on the rest. Very big book, very, very well written. Would I recommend it? Yeah, for people who aren't afraid of books. And, I have a lot of respect for Darren Brown as a person. He walks a very unusual path. I think being a magician is second only to being a poet for ridiculous things that you want to tell your parents that you want to be with a straight face. Yeah, so I'm going to try and figure some stuff out for next month. And hopefully we will continue to see work going forward in my Pecha Kuchas, and it won't just be me talking about comics. Or at least it'll be comics I've made instead of comics I've read. That brings us to the end of Pecha Kucha 162, and I'll see you next time.